Anyone else hate showering? You like being clean, you like the feeling after the shower, but you hate having to have the shower to get clean? First I hate having to get into the shower. Then I hate having to come out of the shower, embarrassed smiley face. On the contrary, I look forward to the shower experience. Showering is soothing and refreshing, never draining. I don't mind showering, I just hate having to get undressed and naked. Struggling to raise the effort to wash can be a sign of depression. I hate using the bathroom after I feel dirty again. Smiley face. Showers are the best thing ever invented. What do you mean? Yes, I can relate to this. Taking a shower feels like just another thing in a long list of tasks I have that day. Yes. Solution: bath time. Most Reddit question ever. No, I love standing in warm water. Nah, that shit feels good. Do you occasionally think about an awkward moment you had years ago for no reason whatsoever? If so, what happened? Yes, all the time. I still think about the time I fell in front of my whole class in 4th grade. Skull. I was eating pho noodles with friends, including a really cute guy I liked. I had my mouth full when I sneezed and felt a burning in my nose. A noodle was hanging out of my nostril and I had to pull it out with my fingers while everyone watched. I put chili oil in the soup so my nose was burning and my eyes watering. My friends were all concerned and nice about it, but it still was embarrassing. The memory comes back at odd moments, usually when I'm about to go sleep. I remember kids laughing at me in middle school cause I had bad breath. Back then I didn't know I supposed to brush my tongue. I just feel bad for younger me and I'm angry at her. I wish I could go back and be more normal. Not so ignorant on things. Should religious institutions be taxed? Why or why not? They should have the same rules as everything else. If they can prove they're charitable and not for profit, they should be exempt from tax. If they can't prove that, or they refuse to, they should be taxed. Religious institutions should follow the same rules as anyone else. Prove your non-profit status, get out of taxes. That's simple. They can keep their tax-free status. But they can't be unaccountable black boxes. Their finances need to be public like secular non-profits. And they need to prove some minimum percentage of their budget goes to actually philanthropic activities. I'd think something around 20. If they don't or won't meet those requirements, they pay taxes just like every other for-profit endeavor. Once they get political, they should be taxed. Yes. A huge number of them are run as money-making businesses, and should be taxed as such. Be taxed as people with ADHD. What is something you do that you thought everyone else did but found out it's because you have ADHD? Hyper-focusing on something for hours without realizing, then immediately losing interest in it either because of a distraction, or sudden inexplicable boredom. Bouncy leg. Stare off into space, not actively thinking about anything and practically asleep with eyes open until someone waves their hand in front of my face. Not being able to remember what I've just read when I turn over to the next page, having racing thoughts, being distracted by anything and everything, not remembering to do basic tasks, such as brushing teeth or eating at appropriate times, being both restless and exhausted at the same time, not remembering people or places. I'm also autistic, so there are probably overlaps. Forget things when you don't constantly think about it. Time blindness. Being extremely distracted, annoyed by little noises that no one else seems to notice. People from USA, why don't you allow cashiers to sit? Do you really believe that this way they are going to attend you better? Americans are fine with that. The bosses' corporations are not. Hi there, I'm from the US, and I gotta tell you, 95% of people do not give two shits, and would be totally fine with cashiers sitting. It's an antiquated corporate policy from more than a half a century ago, initially put in place to make employees seem more attentive to the customer. Also, Aldi does let their people sit, and anyone will tell you that the last thing you can call Aldi cashiers is inefficient. Literally the only ones who care if cashiers sit are power-hungry managers and idiotic corpos. We do that in Canada too. I had some culture shock when I went to Austria and saw that cashiers have seats, and are actually expected to be less sociable. Was really interesting to see. How come that everyone is so busy and doesn't have 5 minutes to breathe but can also watch 20 or 30 episodes per week on Netflix? That's when people are breathing. People aren't busy, they are simply overwhelmed these days, because they don't want to talk to you, because they don't want to spend time with you. That's why we're busy. People will make time for things they enjoy, because they're not actually so busy. You're just not on their list of priorities. Netflix gives much-needed escapism time from a hectic schedule. You got to make time to recharge your batteries, because people can decide if you're worth their time more than a Netflix episode. If you're not, you should be thinking about why is that, or find better people to socialize with. Because they're lying. And they're lying because they think it's a badge of honor to be working all the time. They can't stand to be thought as lazy. Literally nobody doesn't have 5 minutes to breathe. What are you even talking about? What ingredient do you think immediately destroys a dish once it's in the food? For me it's lavender. I've tried several lavender-infused things, all of which felt overpowered and floral. I had a cake once that had fondant on the inside. I picked it off the outside, cut into the cake and was like, is this fondant on the inside? Took a bite and yep, it was. Tossed it and saw other people were doing the same thing. Liquid smoke, just keep it away from me. Rose water. I got nothing. I'm culinarily promiscuous. I like it all. Fennel, canned mushrooms, cilantro. It's in my DNA, I can't help it. Pensive face. Too much time really fucks up a dish beyond repair. Truffle oil, anise, raisins. A heavy hand when adding salt to the meal, get ready to pucker up. The recipe calls for a dash of salt and your hand gives in when adding the ingredient to the cooking process. A hair. Prove me wrong, prove me. How did you find out you were getting cheated on? I didn't know at the time we broke up, for sure, but she was engaged a week after we broke up. I can't even figure out how that worked. Exactly. Phone bill. She was texting some random number 600 times a month. I thought I recognized the number, and when I put it in my phone it was a buddy of mine. His 10-year-old kid, whom I was around for 6.5 years, told his mom because he knew about it but didn't want me to be mad at him. I was good friends with his mom, so she immediately told me when she left me cause she got pregnant, and thought it was a different guy's. Turns out I was one of 3 possible dads. Couple years later and a few paternity tests and turns out it was mine. He pocket dialed me while bragging about it to a co-worker. The universe really had my back on that one. Kids of the 80s and 90s, what was your favorite arcade game? The Simpsons and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Golden Axe, Gauntlet, Joust, Cruising USA, Ghosts and Goblins. My favorite and also my most hated, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Street Fighter. Time Crisis 2 was awesome. Always worth the money. Operation Wolf, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, RoboCop and Simpsons. All got roughly equal playtime. Double Dragon, Galaga and Mortal Kombat. Dig Dug, Time Pilot. Pac-Man, already an oldie but goodie when I was a kid in the 90s. Space Invaders of course, but also loved Galaga, Galaxians, Frogger, Donkey Kong, Asteroid, and Daley Thompson's Decathlon. Ye Are Kung Fu, Galaga and Hydro Thunder. Maybe Gauntlet Legends or the arcade Star Wars trilogy. I think it was this pinball machine called Pinbot. Left-handed people, what is the most inconvenient thing to do? Built for right hands. Eating in close proximity to someone who is right-handed. Always have to orient myself at the table accordingly. Writing in general. Get ink and lead on my hand all the time. For a slightly different answer, shooting a rifle left-handed. Gotta love the occasional hot brass in your face. Can openers. Middle school desks had armrests for right-handed people. Scissors. Even with my right hand they somehow still don't work well. Can openers, notebook spiral bound or otherwise, and binders. Writing on whiteboards is pretty rough too. Trying to use those pie server spatulas with the serrated edge only on one side. Notebooks. Paper notebooks, that is. Stupid things that you don't even think about, like Oyster cards tapping on the right of the terminal. It's not inconvenient, per se, but it adds up. The gods have demanded we sacrifice 10 of the human population. How should we choose who goes, and why? The resulting global war kills 50 of the population while gods scream, guys, that's enough. Guys in vain. Just randomly sink cruise ships. Start with the volunteers. Sorted by pizza toppings. Let's choose a sex offender. May the odds be ever in your favor. Guess it's time for Squid Game IRL. Pedophiles. People who clap when airplanes land. People who don't return their shopping cart to the cart corral. Tell them no. Let's be honest here. It would be the disabled, the elderly, and the terminally ill first, then probably starving people. No one. We kill these supposed gods instead. Or die trying. Eliminate everyone attempting to sacrifice someone. Problem solved. Oh, this could get dark. Lol. Criminality. Let's take out the fentanyl dealers. What celebrity would you be devastated to discover as a garbage human? Bob Ross, Dolly Parton, Danny DeVito, Paul Rudd, Brendan Fraser. I can't see how that's possible. Weird Al, Mr. Rogers. I was pretty sad to find out that Chevy Chase sucked. Frowning face. David Attenborough, Julie Andrews, Hosier, Keanu Reeves, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. John Cena does all the make-a-wishes and seems chill. Adam Savage. Everything he's posted on Tested is such a huge inspiration. I'd hate to find out he's different IRL. Dan Levy because he's so well-rounded and such a talented actor. Paul Rudd, Keanu Reeves, Jack Black, Sir Patrick Stewart, Cillian Murphy. I love him too much. Ian McKellen. I'd be crushed if anything untoward was discovered about David Attenborough. He's been my hero for my whole life. Andrew Garfield, Dave Grohl, Jack Black, Raffi. What is a part of history that we consider to be a fact is 100 fake? Einstein never failed math. The rumor started from Ripley's Believe It or Not, and Einstein actually responded to them saying I never failed in mathematics. Before I was 15 I had mastered differential and integral calculus. He wasn't very good at the non-science related classes though and did fail French. Martin Luther never nailed his 95 Theses to a church door. They were distributed in a series of letters. There is a joke saying that Austria's greatest success is making everyone believe that Mozart was Austrian and Hitler was German. Not sure if quite at the level you're asking for, but it seems to be common knowledge that people didn't fight back against Germans in World War II and it's because they didn't have guns or were cowards. They fought back a lot. The largest was likely. It just turns out that normal people fighting against a military tend to do poorly. What are your opinions on someone with no social media? Made a wise choice. Smart. You have to be actively engaged in conversation and take time to get to know a person who is not on social media. It takes more effort. And they probably have little concern about the opinions of others and don't need likes, hearts or thumbs up to feel validated as a human being. That's a bonus. What used to be normal is now mysterious. No big deal. Apparently, they prefer to socialize in real life and I'm fine with that. They're unnaturally healthy. Huge congrats to them. Smart. They are smart. They are the coolest person in the room usually. Most of the time they're the most relaxed and chilled out person as they have no stress and don't care what you think. I automatically respect them if they're not a prick about it, but I'm always curious on why so. Since I used to be that person too. Lol. I rather my grandparents did not have social media. They're probably happier in general. Guys, what's the most unattractive thing girls do that they think is attractive? Reddit consensus loudly says fake anything. Women seem to do this thing where they act like not noticing me is hot, I guess. It's been 28 years, we can stop now. Hate on other girls that have nothing to do with them. I dated a girl who always had something nasty to say about any girl within eyesight. Got real old real quick. Those big allergic reaction lips. Try and look like Kim K or any influencer shit is like repellent for me. Dropping hints instead of just being direct. Them big ass Australian huntsman spider lashes they be wearing turn off my G. Smiley face. Fake cutesy baby voice. Act rude and entitled. Fake lips. I don't get it why they do it, but they look so unbelievable disgusting. Normal lips doesn't matter if small, medium or big are already so lovely. Emo. Butt implants. They look terrible. Duck lips. Glad that isn't a thing anymore. What child-friendly movie left you traumatized? The Fox and the Hound. Fucking Bambi. My mom died and I watched that movie a few months after and nobody told me Bambi's mom died. That part of The Brave Little Toaster where the AC window unit dies a fiery death. The Land Before Time. Specifically the fight between Littlefoot's mom and the Sharptooth. The Bridge to Terabithia. Watership Down, my girl. When Vada starts crying about how he needs his glasses, it gets me every time. E.T., Pinocchio 1940, Watership Down. I don't know who decided to put it in the kids section in the rental place, but they were fucking wrong. According to my parents, The Lion King. And Toy Story. And pretty much any movie with loud noises. I was a total pussy as a kid. And autistic. All dogs go to heaven. The "you can never come back" scene gave me nightmares. If you woke up and found yourself to be in high school again, what would you do to make the most of it? Be way more freaking confident knowing that none of those people have any impact on or relationship with me now. Basically a who cares, so be you mentality. I've got a few friends that survived into my 30s. They're the type that accepted me for who I was back then and have grown with me since. Lot of things like publish key events of Games of Thrones Season 8 as fanfiction so that they will have a different Season 8. Try my best to remember upcoming future events so I can profit off them. Or avoid any mistakes that I made the first time through. Socialize more, work out, save money, learn about adulting, become responsible and improve my performance in school. Buy Bitcoin. To all those who grew up in the 1990s, what was life like? Get home from school, lie and say I had no homework, go ride bikes or hang out in the treehouse with neighborhood kids until it got dark. Go home, eat dinner, watch cartoons or play video games. Lay in bed with anxiety because I didn't do my homework. Rinse and repeat. It's hard for me to separate what was just rose-colored due to childhood or real. The world just felt safe. Technology seemed to be making things better and better. It's also weird to think that most people were not reachable at all times. Cell phones were just catching on, and even if you had one you saved your minutes for emergencies or waited for nights, weekends. Staying out playing in the front yard until dark. Yes, the cliche was true. We played Jurassic Park a lot and made up dances to the Spice Girls. My personal favorite was Ghost in the Graveyard, but it sounds like that may be a regional thing. Redditors making $100,000 or more. What do you do that make you earn more than $100,000 a year and how long did it take you to get there? Doctor. I'm finishing up residency so I'm making around $70,000 a year, but I've been interviewing for jobs and expected salary would range from $280,000 to $350,000 with bonuses depending on work efficiency. Overall, took 4 years of undergraduate, 1 gap year doing research, 4 years of medical school, 3 years of residency. 12 years total starting from undergraduate. Now if I could just get rid of the $500,000 in student loans. What is a good substitute for marijuana? Cheetos. I would say CBD or Delta-8 THC. Delta-8 isn't as psychoactive as Delta-9 THC, but it still gets you high. I use it when I want to take a tolerance break from Delta-9 THC. It's legal in most states now since it's in the same legal category as CBD. Cannabis, psilocybin, tater tots, crack. It's irreplaceable. Marijuana, none. I don't like quiters. If you are reading a brownie recipe, you can probably just skip that particular ingredient. I'm struggling with my weed consumption and I find what helps me not smoke is planning what I'll do at night in the morning. For example, I tell myself what I'll play Xbox, watch a hockey game or go for a walk. Basically, anything to distract the mind from the initial urge. More marijuana. Therapy?